Gabrielle Union and Dwayne Wade, they have a 50-50 split relationship, apparently, based on an interview she did, right? And so...
I did see that.
Why does a multi-millionaire, or is he a billionaire? No,
he's not a billionaire. He's a millionaire.
He's a multi-millionaire, and she's also a multi-millionaire.
Yeah.
But
so
he
they probably
makes
close to a billionaire. Who knows?
He makes way more than her. So how do you all feel about a 50-50 split in that situation?
Well, since it's the man's thing, let's talk about that.
Why you had to emphasize he makes more than her? She makes a lot of money.
Because that's the argument that everyone's saying online is like, why he makes so much more.
I've seen that.
Yeah.
So it's like
I think that's a bad argument. Because Gabrielle been in the game for how long?
But she doesn't make. He makes like.
Obviously, because the basketball contracts are ridiculous.
I don't know the exact numbers.
40 million 1 year.
I saw him make I saw somebody say he makes like 200 million easy. And she makes like 10 million. So it's like
10 is a lot of money.
But 10 million versus like 200 is like, why?
So from the guy's perspective, since that's the big argument, how do you feel about that?
Yeah.
I mean, 50-50. For me, it's never really 50-50 unless you're really paying attention to every single thing you're doing, right? That just gets mad exhausting and just mentally draining. So for me, I was always taught to provide, and you pay most. Like if I'm living in that house with somebody, I'm gonna pay most of the bills. Like maybe you probably take care of the internet or some light or something, but the hardcore bills is me. I'm really taking care of everything else. So I don't know. Maybe Dwayne Wade was taught to do 50-50.
I don't know. I think she said in the
she's
interview,
okay with it.
I think she said that she doesn't feel right not contributing or something like that because
okay with it.
But she has to also care for all her family members who are not rich. She also said that too. So it kind of seems unfair. He got all these kids. I'm sorry, he got all these kids. He needs to pay the bills. Like you got all these kids. She done came into your life as a mother. So she's a mother figure to your kids. She has a child with you. He needs to pay the bills. I don't see why she has to. I mean, also too though, people live above their means. So it's possible that she has to go 50-50, maybe because they're just spending too much.
That's true.
I don't know. But I don't see why he wouldn't take care of her. She's been through a lot with him. I don't see why he wouldn't just be like, listen, your money is your money. My money is for the family, the foundation. Yeah.
I mean, he should.
Well, in relationships, it's subjective. There's no right or wrong. It's about what the agreement is in the relationship. First of all, if she said, I'm used to doing that, and, she's in her masculine, then she knows to take care of herself and take care of other people. That's how she lived her whole life. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just a matter of, are you going to find a partner that, have you explored that? And have you been able to battle whether it's, I just believe that I also want to contribute to taking care of things, or do I feel like I can't allow myself to receive if somebody does want to provide? That's a battle in yourself already. But secondly, it's like in the relationship that just, again, there's no right or wrong. It just has to be discussed within you guys. Like, what are the parameters set? Are we splitting 50-50 but living according to his finances or living according to my finances? Are we splitting 50-50 but, you take care of your side of things? Am I expected to contribute to your side of things, like your kids and stuff like that? Are you also taking care of your family? Because I'm taking care of my family. It's like, how are things actually being split? Is he doing all the dates and, she's doing this and this and this bill, It's just really a discussion. However, if on the guy's perspective, or not even the guy in general, it's whoever in the relationship is making the most money. Say you make a lot of money. Your biggest fear is going to be, am I going to be with someone who just wants to use me for my money? So it's like, how can you test that out? But if you're married and stuff like that, you've been together forever, okay, obviously that's not it, especially if you're with somebody who also has their own money. So it's a matter of like, what agreement do we have in place? Because if I'm making less money, then we're going to live according to my lifestyle. And then, personally, I also enjoy my relationships being 50-50, even if my man makes more money than me. I still want everything to be split, not evenly though. I don't think there's ever, like you said, going to be an even split. We're going to adjust
obviously
accordingly.
He should do more.
Absolutely.
Being that
you adjust accordingly.
More.
If you're together and you have a partnership, then you discuss about finances. You have to have that conversation and adjust. Like, okay, so you make this amount, how about you take care of this, this, and this, and I'll take care of this and this, because monetarily has nothing to do with energetics. So even if you're taking care of things 50-50 financially, you financially would take care of 60% and I'm doing 40, but then energetically I'm doing more in the household, or I'm doing more to set our appointments and book the stuff. So he might be paying for it, but I'm booking it and making the reservations and like organizing this. Or
kids,
what if we own a business together, you know?
Kids, yeah.
Exactly. Like it's your kids. So like I'm helping out with everything of your kids and you're paying for it. So it's like, it really isn't always going to be 50-50 regardless, even if that's the generic agreement. But secondly, it's just a matter of, have you guys had a really detailed discussion about what your beliefs are, what you want your arrangement to be, how much you actually make, what lifestyle you live. Are we going to live according to your finances, according to mine, your family responsibilities, my family responsibilities? It's hard because this argument is like, everyone wants to put their 2 cents about what's right or wrong and who makes more in the male and female relationship. And then there, you know, it's people. But the reality is there is no right or wrong. It's just a matter of, have that partnership, have they had that conversation in detail about their arrangement and come up with something that works for both of them in their beliefs, that's not extending beyond somebody's capacity or being defensive and not trusting on his end. It's, have you found that middle ground that actually works for you guys spiritually, emotionally, financially, energetically, that is just the right fit for you and your lifestyle?
That's true. And but what I do realize too, like when guys, the guy who makes the most money, he kind of tends to tends to like try to take a more vice grip.
Various, you know, sources. Most of the time when people come up with nothing and they finally reach that point, they tend to be very like, I have to keep this, because in their mind, you know, they reach that point and then now they're obsessed with that and they don't ever want to go back to feeling the way they used to feel. So they might, you know, be very hoarding with their finances or their lifestyle or the people they can trust or people on their team and stuff. And that's obviously supposed to dissipate once you've been in a partnership for a long period of time and you had this conversation enough to like know you can trust your partner and you guys know how each other feels about this stuff. So again, it's a matter of like, have you explored that in yourself to be like, okay, I might feel this way, but I can trust my partner and know that I'm not going to lose by giving to her and providing and being able to give more on the table financially. So it's a matter of like, have you both actually explored?
You know, what's another problem also? A lot of people don't tell each other how much they really make.
Right.
That's like, I've yet to find or hear someone say, I told this person how much I really make, unless they marry.
So weird, right?
And that's weird in a marriage.
People will do a whole podcast and be very explicit about how much sex they have.
Right.
But you can't say how much you make.
Right.
That's very strange. You'll tell me that you just lick the bottom of somebody's
but you
won't tell me how much you make. That's
so backwards.
Right, because people have this fear that somehow if I express how much I make, somebody will come after me and take it.
Or
I don't make enough and my value are low.
Exactly.
You don't want to disclose what your meter, where you are.
Right. And that's subjective to like, what is that person comparing it to? Because if they're like, oh, like I make only 10 million, but you're thinking like that's not enough because I should be making 250, or I'm comparing myself in my brain to somebody else, or I'm in a room with people who make more, then you're like, But like in a room with people who make 100K, like they'd be hot shit, but they're still like inadequate because in their mind, they're comparing themselves to what they should be and they're valuing themselves based on the number. So, you know, people don't talk about it for so many reasons, but mostly because they're either valuing themselves and each other. We're all valuing each other based on how we make and what we do for a living. We're not valuing each other based on our humanity, you know, our energetics. But two, they have this fear of, you know, if we share and we talk about money, then somehow it is a threat to what I do and how much I make, which is also crazy.
Yeah. I don't know. I think Dwayne Wade, if he is making 3 times or more than that, he should be paying for everything. I don't feel like she should split because, like you said, what she's providing to that household is enough.
Yes.
Like she is mothering. How many kids he got? 15, 11? I don't know. How many kids he got? 6, 7? I don't know.
15, I don't know.
He got a lot of kids.
Yeah.
To come into that situation and be a mother, that's a lot.
Yeah. So
and be an
actress,
actress
the conversation.
and be a brand. So
yeah.
It's like, I think she's just feeling inadequate when she's not contributing just as much.
Yeah.
And I think they need to have a conversation about that.
Yes, because like you said, you know, if she feels inadequate for not providing financially, then she's not taking into account everything else that she's doing. And she's, again, valuing herself based on her money contribution, which is a very masculine trait to do, a very thing, you know, happens especially in the Hispanic household. That's how, you know, you're valuing yourself based on how much money you make, what you do for a living, how much you work, which is crazy that we live in that world. But that's how a lot of us grew up. And it needs to be in our masculine.
She needs to tunnel into her feminine energy.
Absolutely.
And just do her acting.
And they need to actually have that
out.
conversation. Besides financially, how much energy are you providing? How much energy are you providing? What tasks are you responsible for? What tasks am I responsible for? 50-50 is, if we're only talking about finances, is going to be problematic. So it really has to, you have to have a wholehearted conversation together about how I feel about it. How do you feel about it? How much are we both providing in all aspects of our lifestyle together? You know, and why do we feel like we have to provide this or what expectations do we have of each other? You know, that are we meeting that standard, and what fears do we have about sharing money and providing more, providing less? Like, how is that going to make us feel if we have a different financial situation energetically, and how's that going to affect the lifestyle we live? It's just a matter of having a really detailed conversation, taking into account way more than money, which, like you said, a lot of partners don't do. A lot of partnerships don't do that. They don't even talk about the depths of their money, which is crazy. How can you marry somebody if you don't like know them energetically down to their core as much as they know themselves?
I have a question.
That's crazy.
So aside from money, like aside from, because that's a rich conversation, right? Like I don't even know. I don't know what 10 million feels like. So on a basic everyday level, how do you all feel about 50-50 splitting with just like regular humans who earn, let's just say, under $85,000 a year?
Yeah. I prefer it. In my relationships, I prefer to, but again, it's not 50-50. I prefer to have a well-balanced relationship. Like neither one of us is going to be providing more than the other in terms of finances. It'll just be dependent on what we're doing in a relationship. So say I live with my partner, he pays the rent, I'll pay like this and this bill, but I clean the kitchen, do the dishes, and do the shopping that either he pays for because he doesn't like to cook, or, you know, he doesn't like to do dishes, and he doesn't like to shop for furniture. So it's like, we have a very, like, me and my partner are extremely communicative, extremely vulnerable, everything, like down to the last detail of every single thought I'm having. There's not anything that we're not going to talk about. So when it comes to living together, sharing finances, I prefer a more balanced. I don't need or want. I will allow it if he wants to. If he's like, I want to take care of all your bills, I'm like, okay. But then I will personally, like, I have that too, is I need to do something else to show that like there's energetics, because one of my fears is like, I don't want anyone to like, oh, I did all this for you, and now you know, that comes up in my life as a child too. So it's like, okay, so then I need to make sure I feel well balanced in some sort of way. So it doesn't have to be financially. So that's why I say like 50-50 has to be discussed in various other ways. What finances we both make, and how much sense does it make? Do you want to live in a really beautiful house? And I'm like, okay, well, I can't do that, but you want to do that? Then you're paying that mortgage. Like, so, okay, so then what other ways am I going to contribute financially, energetically to the household? What else are we going to do? So we're going to have a very detailed conversation. So it'll be evenly balanced, but not just financially. It'll just be evenly balanced in the totality of everything we contribute to our lifestyle together, because that's a whole life you have. It's a partnership. So like in a business partnership, they're not going to have, you know, the same amount of duties and responsibilities. So you talk about your partnership. What are all the responsibilities of this partnership, and how are we each going to contribute in a way that we're both comfortable, where it's not outside of either one of us, of our capacities, but it's also not below to make either one of us feel inadequate.
Right. You're always not going to always come to an agreement. But then that's when the compromises.
Absolutely. You never come to like, oh, we're on the same page. It's never that. It's just like, okay, so what are we going to move around all the pieces? Let's put all the pieces on the table, figure everything out. What do you like to do? What do I like to do? What do you not like to do? What are you able to do? What am I able to do? Where are you at financially? Where are you at energetically? You know, and let's put all the pieces together and let's move things around. And all the cloudy spaces, we just discuss it until we get to like the right compromise.
Right.
Yeah.
Right, I agree.
Yeah, I agree too. I think
so Wade should do his thing to give up the money. Because if I'm making 85 and I'm dating a girl that's making, let's say 40, just this is common sense. Know that there's certain things she's not going to be able to do. You know what I'm saying?
So it's like, if you want to do those things, then
I gotta be able
got that.
And
if she feels inadequate and she needs to provide, then you have a conversation about that, and you figure out what other ways she can provide that's not beyond her capacity, that isn't going to make her feel inadequate.
Not living above the means.
Absolutely.
A lot of people do that.
That live above their means.
Yeah, because even the rich people do it. That's why
she's
think
splitting.
They're like super duper rich. Yeah, they're rich compared to us.
Of course.
But to other, like, let's say a rich person, they'd be like, that person broke.
Right.
Like, that's what they'll say. Like,
right.
Because they're living above their means.
Which is crazy that people do that. But that's really the society that we brainwashed each other into being in. It's like, why do that? Like, if you have all this money, why not like go have experiences? You know, what's the focus on like having 7 cars and a big house? Sure, you want a big house, you want space, you want a yard. Sure. So make sure that you live a lifestyle and have your finances accordingly to be able to do that, but still live comfortably. Like,
So
don't sacrifice.
let's just say you're a billionaire. Would y'all get one of those houses like Rick Ross has? Like
I don't
that
even know.
I actually
big
saw his
old
house in Atlanta. I
house.
actually passed by his house. And it's funny because where he's at, it's like it's in between the hood and like another area. It just looks like you wouldn't even think that's Rick Ross estate. Like it just doesn't look right where it's at. It doesn't look exclusive. But yeah, I would get that big house. I just personally would need to have like multiple children. I would need to have a reason, you know.
Yeah.
I don't want to be in that house alone. Like I need to have children or maybe families. I don't know. Like, but yeah, for sure.
I don't know how big his house is. I've never seen it. I've always lived, like, I want a tiny home and I want land and I just want to live like commune style. Exactly. But as I've like moved through different phases of my life, I'm like, okay, so I do want a big house, but I still want a lot of land. I need to be more secluded. You know, trees. I need a lot of nature around me and I don't want neighbors. I want to be able to make whatever noise. I do various things in my life. So like, I want a big house. I personally don't want kids. So I want all the rooms in my houses to be like a different area of fun. You know, music studio here, an acting studio there, a big like ball pit room over here, my own personal gym. You know, like I want the different areas of my life to all be there. So I don't have to like go out and do stuff if I don't want to. Like everything I need to do, everything I want to do is nice. It's there. And also I enjoy hosting. I enjoy having parties. I enjoy having people over. I enjoy helping. So like say my friends wants to start a podcast or make music. I already do that now with like the little that I'm able to provide. I want to be able to have people over and be like, yeah, you can come make music here. Hey, let me do some training with you here. Or like, you know, you have a whole office space if you want to like sit down and write a book, or you just want to have a peaceful retreat. Cause I live in Long Island. I have a lot of friends that come from the city to visit me and we just go for hikes and we go to the beach and they're like, wow, this is so nice. I needed this. And I want to be able to provide even just like sanctity for people. So I'm like, yeah, I want a big house and a lot of land so I can grow my own food and like rely on myself and really like get closer to nature and have like all the animals that I want. But I just want all this room to like play in my home. You know, I want to be able to have like a dance studio and just play around.
Before we get to the next topic.
And
I heard you did say, while you were saying all that you did not want kids.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because it seemed like, you know, like you provide your nature.
Yeah, I am very motherly. I've always been this way, but that's because I grew up in my masculine, grew up having to take care of family members, grew up having to play the parts in my family that were empty spaces, you know, take care of a lot of kids, you know, be a parent my parents, like I've taken care of a lot of friends that were down in the dumps. And like, I'm just always going to be that person. It's just, I'm very lucky that I went through what I went through because it made me someone that not only can I take care of myself through no matter what with nothing, but I can take care of others in my sleep, you know, and that's a beautiful thing. But because of that, it's like, I do not want kids. I've taken care of so many kids. I worked with kids. And like, I personally just find kids very annoying. Like, it's really that. Like, I want my life to be my life. I don't want to take care of somebody. I don't want to give up my life to take care of somebody else. It's just not something I ever wanted to do for me. I wanted to like make it to 80, 100, going out, rock climbing, traveling the world. Like, I don't see any desire to mother another life and give up my life for that and raise good off that.
I don't think it's giving up your life though. When you have a kid, I think it's more so putting on pause. Because once they get to a certain age,
and that's like I don't want to do that. I don't want to put my life on pause for any. It's really like I want my life to be about me.
Yeah, I get it.
You know, I want to have fun. I want to go experience things. I want to travel and do all these things. And like, yeah, you can do that with a kid, but like, I don't like kid energy. I don't want a kid around while I'm traveling and like doing fun things. Like, I'm good. I have so many kids in my life and my family and my friends. Like I said, I worked around kids. I raised kids. I'm like, I'm really good. I don't need that energy in my lifestyle where I'm like, I don't even want anyone below the age of 16 around me on a general basis. I'm good off that. Just like personally, just like not for me.
Okay.
A lot of animals though.